Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to AEW Discussion. I'm your host on AEW Tuesdays, Dougie Doug. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Dynamite, January 4th, 2023 episode. And if my voice sounds a little bit weird, I apologize for that, but I got a little bit of a sore throat, so my voice might sound a little bit hoarse, but nonetheless, I'll power through this and get this episode done. And this episode of Dynamite was the start of a new era for Dynamite. New look, new presentation, and I'll tell you what, I like the colors, I like the presentation, and I thought this was a pretty good first episode of the new era. In the main event, you had Darby Allin challenging Samoa Joe for the TNT title. Also, you had a match between Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho, and, homecoming for Bryan Danielson as well. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. And this was a great way to kick off the first Seattle episode of Dynamite, as the crowd is red hot for everything and seemingly bought into the idea as Starks as the good guy, Starks as the good guy against an established bad guy like Jericho. The action was solid and presented Starks as someone who could soldier through everything thrown his way and still score the all-important win. It was interesting to interesting to hear the commentary point out that Jericho has lost 2 in a row rather than putting over Starks' win, but that is to be expected at this point, as Jericho is has major influence over the show, and he's a major star on the show. Nonetheless, the crowd received everything well. Starks got treated like a star, and there was even a huge pop for Action on Andrade, proving that Seattle was a great city to kick off the new era of AEW, and also, it's their first show too, so, the crowd's going to be a little bit more energetic. Then you have an AEW World Tag Team Championship match, The Acclaimed versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and the match was good, old-fashioned fun. The finish slightly overbooked. Probably wasn't really necessary, but it was executed well enough that it can be forgiven. Aubrey Edwards also got the shine in this segment, much to the delight of the audience. I think she's from Washington, and the right team ultimately won over, so the false finish ended up being harmless, and it did drum up some drama to boot. Plus, it set up a no-holds-barred rematch at Battle of the Belts, so there's that. Whether or not granted, I don't think a rematch is necessary because the Acclaim's probably going to win that rematch, so you're doing a rematch just to have the same team win, kind of pointless. Bryan Danielson versus Tony Nese, and Danielson would pick up the win in this match as expected, and after the match, Danielson would call out MJF. What followed was an insult-heavy promo that ended up with MJF telling the American Dragon he would have to wrestle every week between now and February 8th, and if he did just that and anything else, if he won every match, he would then get a title shot at Revolution on March 6th. Danielson countered by saying that if he did all that, he would want to pick the stipulation for his match, which would be a 60-minute Iron Man match. So after goading MJF into accepting, Danielson promised to kick his head in. So the promo section of the segment probably went on longer than it needed to, and it featured some stuff early on that probably didn't need to be there. With that said, though, these guys kind of recovered nicely towards the end to get to the point, and featured the typically great stuff from MJF on the mic. The Iron Man match, which will almost certainly occur, it's being manifested, so there's no way you can not do it. It'll be great, and the journey there should be a fun one, and hopefully Danielson can stay healthy enough to get there. TNT Championship match, Darby Allin versus Samoa Joe. And Darby Allin would pick up the win in his hometown, or I don't know if Seattle's his hometown, maybe it is, but either way, Darby Allin gets the win, and confetti would fall as he knelt in the center ring, a now 2-time TNT champion. Sting would join his friend and tag team partner, embracing them in a moment that not only put the moment over, but also drew quite the ovation from the crowd. And this was something that we don't see from AEW very often, which is like a legitimate moment. The match was, fine for what it was. It did kind of look like it was somewhat rushed. and it was certainly lacking in comparison to the narrative of their first bout, but the post-match events are what really elevated the segment. The eruption of the fans, the confetti, and the arrival of Sting all helped make this a truly special moment, not just for Allin, but for the company as a whole. With so much attention being paid to guys like Jericho and Moxley and Danielson, here you have a homegrown star in Allin who's been over since day one, closing out the show on what had been dubbed as a new era of Dynamite. And you know what, this was, as much as I enjoyed Samoa Joe taking a TNT champion, it probably was the right, this was probably the right call in the right city. And whether you like Allin's ring style or not, right guy for the job. So nice little feel-good moment to close out the show, and certainly something that will find its place in best of videos for years to come. So, I guess congrats to Allin for that. And with that, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video, this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.